The Ramban famously said that one Tochacha refers to that which happened at the destruction of the first temple, and the second Tochacha more refers to the destruction of the second temple. Right? That's the way he has it. He gives a few examples that there are things mentioned in the book of Devarim that can only fit, for example, what happened with the Roman occupation and destruction of the temple. One of the good examples he gives is God promises to bring upon us a nation whose language we do not understand. Lo tishma lashono. And that cannot be said about, for example, the Assyrians or the Babylonians. Why? Because they were basically speaking Semitic languages, basically Aramaic. And Avraham Avinu came from those places. And when the Assyrian conquerors first showed up in the land of Israel, they took away the 10 tribes and they besieged Jerusalem. The Jewish big shots who were there to hear what Rav Shakeh had to say, what happened to them? They were basically telling him, can you please not speak in Hebrew? We understand Aramaic. It's totally fine. Aramaic is a sister language to Hebrew, and Aramaic shows up all the time throughout the Torah. There's even a sort of tradition that the Aramaic translation that Uncle was put into writing was given with the Torah. So we were always familiar with Aramaic. It wasn't some foreign language. As a matter of fact, when they refer to La'az, when Achron Rishon refer to La'az, Lashon Amzar, they do not refer to Aramaic, which is certainly not Lashon HaKodesh. It's not Hebrew. And Arabic also is not referred to by our Chazal as Lashon Amzar, La'az. You have to be a really foreign European language. Even Greek, Chazal seems to be familiar with Greek. Latin, however, is something that totally foreign to us at the time. So that was new. That was something to which we had real exposure. Okay, the Ramban aside, Rabbi Bar-Hayim was talking about how too many people have this view of redemption that, for example, Merkazniks, the Geula started, we have a state of Israel, there's a new Jewish community here, and now you just have to sit back and relax. The Mashiach's coming. It's all part of a plan. Ramban's way of thinking, I don't know if Ramban himself said this, I'm not going to accuse him of that, but I'm saying too many Jews growing up after so much have read too much of, rabbinic history, too much Medrash says, let's say if you study too much of that, you'll get to the impression that everybody knew what what history was going to be. Yaakov Avinu knew history far into the future. Moshe Rabbeinu knew all of it already. David HaMelech knew about it. It's all part of Avraham Avinu did know a lot of it. God showed him. Yeah. So he knew exactly how long the second Golus would take. It's all part of the process now, just like we sat back and the state of Israel started again. Now there's a major Jewish community and there's millions of us here. We all live in Israel, thank God. And, Mashiach's on his way. It's all going to work out some way. We're not asked to do anything. That's what the Rav has pointed out. You could be Haredi and just go back a little bit. The state of Israel isn't it yet. We ignore it completely. We're still waiting for the process to happen. It's all a process. We're completely passive, and it's all been laid out in front of us. Everybody's aware of the way it's supposed to be, right? That's what you get, especially if you read things like the Ramban. People read this. This first Tochacha and Vayikra corresponded to the biblical era and destruction of the first temple, and then Devarim and its Tochacha referring to the destruction of the second temple. We've been through that, and nothing bad can ever happen again. Rav Herzog told the Brisker Rav, there's a tradition, we will not have a third Churban. And I remember someone popping my bubble and telling me, yeah, but it could just be that if we mess this up, we'll say it was just a continuation of the previous Churbans. We are always in a situation where now we got louder. We are always in a situation where we have to figure out what to do, and we're asked to do something. And it's not really, yes, God knows the plan already, but it's more like potential. We have a potential to bring about a messianic era if we would behave that way. But until we behave that way, then we are not going to get there. And that's why it's important. You read the Tochacha. Why? Because really, it can happen again. Abarbanel takes major issue with the Ramban. Okay, he says both Tochachas apply to both destructions, and just like the blessings are always there for the taking if we keep the Torah, and the curses are always there for the taking also. We have to think that way. Like the Rambam says with regards to tshuva, you always have to imagine that the next thing you do can decide. That could be the machriya, that could tip the scales for you, for your community, for the entire Jewish people. We have to think that way, and that's why we can't just sit back and expect redemption to happen. And we also have to be aware that bad things can happen again. Can't sit back. Okay, I just wanted to remind us about that.